170 million Americans use TikTok every single day. Creators built careers. Small businesses built empires. Entire communities formed around the app. Then the US government issued an ultimatum: sell to an American company or face a total ban. ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, refused. In April 2024, Congress passed a ban law. January 19, 2025, is the deadline. If ByteDance doesn't sell, TikTok disappears. American phone. App stores will remove it. Internet providers will block it. This is the first time the United States has tried to ban a social media platform of this scale. And it might actually work. This is the story of how 170 million users became collateral damage in a tech cold war between America and China. To understand why TikTok is being banned, you need to understand how it became unstoppable. It started with ByteDance, a Chinese tech company that launched Douyin for the Chinese market. It was addictive from day one. The secret sauce was an algorithm that was eerily good at showing you exactly what you wanted to watch, even if you didn't know it. In 2017, ByteDance bought Musical.ly, an American lip-sync app popular with teens, for $1 billion. They merged it with their international version of Douyin and rebranded the whole thing as TikTok. Between 2018 and 2019, TikTok exploded in the US. The algorithm was unlike anything Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube offered. On those platforms, you needed followers to go viral. On TikTok, you didn't need to be famous. The For You page showed content based purely on engagement: what you watch, how long you linger on a frame, and what you share. Within months, it became the most addictive app on smartphones. By March 2020, the pandemic locked everyone inside. TikTok became the app for global connection. Dances, challenges, comedy skits, and life hacks, everyone was on it. By the end of 2020, TikTok had 100 million US users. But it wasn't just entertainment, it was infrastructure. Full-time creators were suddenly earning between $50,000 and $500,000 annually through brand deals and the Creator Fund. Over 7 million small businesses, from local bakeries to boutique clothing brands, used TikTok for free marketing. A single viral video could cause sales to explode overnight. TikTok didn't just host culture, it created. But while users saw a community, the US government saw a Chinese surveillance weapon. The US government's case against TikTok boils down to 3 words: Chinese Communist Party. Concern 1. Data collection. TikTok collects enormous amounts of data. What you watch, your precise location, biometric data like facial recognition from your videos, your contacts, browsing history, and even your keystrokes. While this is standard for most social media companies, the problem is where that data goes. TikTok's data ultimately flows to ByteDance, which is headquartered in Beijing. Under Chinese national intelligence laws, any domestic company must share data with the government if requested for national security purposes. US officials fear the CCP could access data on 170 million Americans, creating a counterintelligence goldmine. Concern 2. Algorithm manipulation. TikTok's algorithm decides what half of America sees every day. If the Chinese government wanted to influence US politics, they could subtly boost content that promotes division or suppress pro-democracy views. US officials argue that letting a Chinese company control the information diet of 170 million citizens is an unacceptable national security threat. They worry about cognitive warfare, the ability to shape the minds of an entire generation without them ever realizing they are being influenced. Concern 3. Espionage. TikTok has access to the devices of government employees, military personnel, and high-level politicians. If China wanted to identify intelligence targets, track physical movements, or map out the social networks of the American elite, TikTok provides the perfect window. In 2020, President Trump tried to ban TikTok via executive order, claiming it was a national security threat. He ordered ByteDance to sell to an American company like Oracle or Walmart. The deal collapsed after Trump lost the election and TikTok survived. But the pressure didn't stop. President Biden continued the push, banning TikTok from government-issued devices. By 2023, the pressure reached a fever pitch. TikTok CEO Xiao Zichu testified before Congress in a brutal 5-hour hearing. Both Democrats and Republicans grilled him. When asked if Chinese engineers could access U.S. data, his answers, while focused on Project Texas, a $1.50 billion plan to store U.S. data on American servers, weren't enough to satisfy lawmakers. A bipartisan consensus formed TikTok was a threat that had to be neutralized. On April 24, 2024, Congress passed the ban law and Biden signed it immediately. The countdown to January 19, 2025 began. Biden's response was immediate. We're not selling. There are two major reasons for this. First, China won't allow it. The recommendation algorithm, the literal brain of TikTok, is considered Chinese intellectual property. Chinese export control laws prohibit selling that technology without government approval. The Chinese government has made it very clear. They would rather see TikTok banned in the US than allow the algorithm to be handed over to an American company. Selling TikTok without the algorithm is like selling a high-performance car without the engine, is worthless. Second, TikTok is a cash cow. It generates over $16 billion annually in the US alone. ByteDance believes they can fight this in court and win. In May 2024, TikTok sued the US government, arguing that the ban violates the First Amendment. They argue that banning the app is government-mandated censorship of speech. Their case is built on the fact that 170 million Americans use the platform to express themselves, and that the government hasn't shown concrete evidence that data has actually been shared with China. They call it speculative fear, not a proven threat. Civil liberties groups like the ACLU have come out in support of TikTok, arguing that even if there is a security risk, banning an entire platform is extreme overreach. On the other side, national security experts argue that the First Amendment doesn't require the U.S. to allow a foreign adversary to control its communication infrastructure. In September 2024, a federal court upheld the ban, ruling the government's concerns were legitimate. Now, the case is at the Supreme Court. Oral arguments are set for January 10, 2025, just 9 days before the app is scheduled to vanish. If the ban goes through, the impact will be immediate. On day one, Apple and Google will remove TikTok from their stores. No more downloads, no more updates. Within weeks, internet providers will block the servers. For the 7 million small businesses that rely on TikTok, their primary marketing channel will disappear overnight. Creators will lose their income and the American internet landscape will be fundamentally altered. Ironically, this ban makes Meta and Google, the very monopolies Congress app. It's about a new Cold War fought with silicon chips, data packets, and attention spans. China banned Google, Facebook, and YouTube years ago to maintain political control. Now the US is doing the same thing in reverse. This is digital nationalism. We are witnessing the tech decoupling, the US and China building separate, walled-off digital ecosystems that don't interoperate. It is the end of the global, open internet. Other countries are watching closely. If the US successfully bans TikTok, dozens of other nations may follow suit. India already did it back in 2020. But authoritarian countries are also taking notes. If a democracy like the US can ban an app for national security, any dictator can now claim the same to silence opposition platforms. The real tragedy is the human cost. 170 million Americans don't care about US-China geopolitics. They care about the communities they've built, the niche support groups they've found, and the businesses they've poured their lives into. These people are collateral damage in a tech war they never signed up for. Creators who spend a decade building an audience will see it erased. Small businesses will have to go back to expensive traditional advertising that they can't afford. The ban might send a message to Beijing, but it's the American users who are paying the price. So, what is the founder's code we can take from the TikTok ban? Lesson 1. Geopolitics destroys business. You can build the most engaging platform in history, but if you are caught on the wrong side of a geopolitical rivalry, your success is a target. Lesson 2. National security trumps free speech. When a government feels its control is threatened, security will always be the trump card used to override constitutional freedoms. Lesson 3. Tech decoupling is inevitable. The dream of a neutral global internet is dead. You now have to choose which stack you belong to. The Western stack or the Chinese stack. Lesson 4. Users are pawns. 170 million people had no say in this. They built the value, but They are the first ones sacrificed when governments go to war. The TikTok ban isn't just a legal maneuver, it's a symptom of a world that is becoming more divided and less free. Do you use TikTok? Will you move to Reels or YouTube Shorts if it's gone? Is this about national security or just pure censorship? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you think the government is overreaching, and share this with any creators you know. Subscribe to Founders Code for more deep dives into the power struggles of the tech world. Thanks for watching.